Did you ever wonder if you could run AI models locally? Yes, it is possible. Today I will show you how to run open source models locally and also set up a code assistant in VS Code. But why should we run our models locally? There are several reasons. One is it gives you control over your data. Your data never leaves your computer. It never goes into cloud. And some companies have some compliance regulations that says your data cannot leave your data center. So in that case, running your own models is a very good choice. And it gives you offline access. You can download the model and run it locally without internet and interact with them. And it's very cost effective. You are not paying per token as you do with any like pro or premium AI models. And it gives you independence. You don't rely on third-party services for your operations. So what are some of the open source models that are available? In closed source, we know which are paid and which are premium level. GPT, Claude, Gemini, Grok. In open source, we have pretty good models like Llama, it's by Meta, Qwen by Alibaba, DeepSeek is a pretty famous one, and Gemma by Google, and there are much more. These are some of the famous ones. To run your AI models, you need a tool that is Ollama. It acts like your Docker. If you have used it before, you can pull and run the LLMs, the models, similar to what you do in Docker for Docker images. So you go to Ollama.com to download the Ollama tool. You can download Ollama by going to Ollama.com and download this. It is available for all the OS, Mac OS, Linux and Windows, and install it in your machine. Once it is installed, we need to pick a model we would like to run. So before that, verify that Ollama is installed correctly by running this command ollama-version. It would give you some version. So go to these models. It's basically a library of all the available models. You will notice there is DeepSeek, Gemma, Qwen and Llama. There are many, and there are some specific purpose models also. Like if I want to see only code related ones, there is Code Llama, Code Gemma, so on so, Code Qwen. There are various models you would like to try it out. And each model has specific size. For example, if I go into Qwen 3, you will notice that it has varieties. Qwen 3 latest, Qwen 3.6b. So these are nothing but the amount of knowledge base. It basically denotes the number of arguments it supports. The smaller it is, faster to run in your machine. The bigger, like 235 billion arguments, it is of 142 GB of size, which requires a pretty good hardware to run. So to run it locally, better to try with smaller ones like this, Qwen 3.6b. So if you scroll down, you will also see the commands. See, command is Ollama run Qwen 3. Let's copy this command and go to a command line and run this. When you run this command, if it is the first time you are running, it will also pull the image or the model and then run it. For the first time, it may take few minutes to download the image or the models, but subsequently it will be much faster. Now it shows a prompt from where you can send a message. Let's start by asking a simple question. Capital of Paris. So it also shows the thinking here, what it's thinking and what it's trying to do. Then finally it shows the answer. Let's say, what is the regular expression? to validate email. So now this is little technical, so the thinking will show that. It is thinking about the regular expression before it gives the answer. So it starts giving these regular expressions and some examples and some notes. So your model is running all in local. The message you are sending is not going across the internet. In case you don't want to see the thinking details, you can run the Ollama run command by passing think equals to false parameter and ask the question, capital of France. It only gives you the answer, no thinking is shown. It happens in the background. One more example, regex for email. It only gives you the required answer. So Ollama also exposes API endpoint from where you can run these prompts. Let's try it out. Ollama runs on the port 11434 and the endpoint is API/generate. In the JSON body, you have to give the model. In Ollama, you can run multiple models. You can run any number of models together. And every request, you have to specify which model you are trying to access. In our case, it is Qwen. And we are asking a simple question, capital of Paris. We are passing a stream as false. If you don't give stream as false, by default it is true, then you get the response word by word. So now trying out this example. So it returns the response. Again, there is a think tag here. It shows the thinking. To ignore the thinking in this case, we have to pass another option called think is false. So we only need the answer, not the thinking part. So now we only get this response. Let's try another technical question. Python code to validate email. Since we are not streaming, it may take some time to get the response. It will collect all the data and then return the response. Here is the response, including the code. Of course, in the JSON, you cannot make out the code. There is no formatting. So you could use this API endpoint to test out the LLMs. Now let's set up our own coding assistant in VS Code. Open VS Code and go to extensions and search for an extension called Continue. This extension allows us to configure AI assistant. You can configure your own custom assistant as well. Once installed, go to this icon here, Continue. This is a chat prompt for AIs, but we need to add a model here first. Click on this, select model, add chat model. Here select Ollama, we are using Ollama, and the model is auto detect. Let's connect. You notice this is a config file that is opened here. Let's configure our own, the Qwen that we downloaded already. I will call this as my Qwen AI, just a name, which is the model. You can identify what is the model that you run by running command Ollama list. It will show you all the models that you are running locally. The one we have used is Qwen 3.6 billion. Configure that. Qwen 3.6p. So once you configure this, you will notice in the drop down we have this selected now. Let's try out some code. Generate hello world Python code. We'll start with simple example. Please note that this is not as powerful as Cloud Code or Gemini Pro, but this gives you basic coding assistant. So it just gives a print command. You can copy this onto here. Add input prompt and print value. We're just asking it basic questions for demo purpose. You could try it with more logic, like give me email expression, regular expression, or any other coding examples. Copy this. So this is how you can configure your own models in VS Code. So what are some of the important commands you need to know in Ollama? So we have this Ollama list, which shows you all the models that we currently have in our system. I have tried out DeepSeek, Llama. You can try this out too. You can find those names from this screen here and search for models having the name Code Llama. There are many. There is also DeepSeek Coder V2, which are much bigger, right? It has almost 9 GB in size. So your hardware requirements will also vary depending on which model you are using. I picked Qwen because it's smaller and is much faster. I hope that was useful. Some of the models you should try out are DeepSeek, Gemma by Google, and Llama by Meta, also Mistral. Some of these models also support function calling. For example, Mistral has this function calling. You can define functions, and based on the question, it may call functions. Try it out, try a few models and see which one works best for you.